Gotta punch a baby in the face.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And trailers this week.
That's right. Come on down to the Superhero Slate podcast, where we don't only have one trailer to talk about, not even two. And you may think I'm stopping at 3, but no. 4 trailers came out last week.
4 trailers. How much did that cost us to watch?
Oh, man. It cost us nothing. But this is like jam-packed. We got so much to talk about. Like I've said before, stated in the podcast, I really love talking about rumors. I really love talking about trailers. So this is really, really exciting. We're not just like speculating off little casting news and stuff like that. We're talking about some meaty goodness trailers. We got some premiere trailers. We got some second release trailers. And I think, if I remember, I think one of them is like the 3rd trailer, I believe. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So all ranges of lifespans of trailers. This is going to be an awesome episode. And all this stuff came I think the first of these trailers came out, I think, later after we recorded last week.
It was Sunday, yeah. Because I think it was a Fantastic Beasts trailer. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah, I think that was the first one. So they've been coming out all week. So we just been saving them up, getting them ready. So they all landed on our plates for this episode. It's going to be awesome. Yeah,
it's great. It's fantastic. I'm so excited. I love trailers as well. I want to see them in the movie theater. I haven't had a chance to go to the theaters lately, and I guess Batman v Superman. But I want to watch them. I want to see them in the theaters because that big screen feel, the dark vibe just makes them so much better. Yeah, I mean, just before we started recording, we went and rewatched all of them, of course, so they were fresh in our minds. And this was the first time I listened to them with earbuds in, and I'm not much of an audiophile, so usually when I'm watching anything, even if I load a trailer up on my 60-inch TV in the other room, the sound is still coming from the internal speakers that are built into the TV, but putting in headphones and listening to it just totally changes it. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and do a screen. More than likely, I would think at least half of these are going to show up in front of a Civil War here in a couple weeks. So I'm getting really excited. I'm really stoked. We're really getting into the summer here. I don't think technically on the calendar it is summer yet, but not till June.
It is starting to feel like it, and I don't care what the calendar says. As soon as the first summer blockbuster comes out, it's summer.
I agree. First weekend of May is summer. I'm wearing shorts today, so for me, it's a little summer. If I'm wearing shorts, it's a big day because I went out and bought a new desk to record the podcast on. It actually has to get shipped to me, so I don't have it yet, which is a bummer. But it's ideal. It's a perfect desk. I flipped my little office around, so I'm recording from a different side. So if you guys may have heard a couple popping sounds from my microphone the past couple of weeks, hopefully moving it around will help the feng shui get the pops out. That's what I'm really thinking. But I'm really excited. It's been a busy weekend, but I'm ready to get into this. I'm so stoked. I've been holding off talking. So
yeah, we do our best to try to bury the lead. We've talked about some of these trailers in advance, but some of them I don't really have any idea what your feelings are. But as we get into this next one, before you tell me your opinion, I'm gonna tell you what I think you're thinking, because I feel like I'm getting to know you well enough and how you watch trailers. So I think I know the big points that you've pulled out of each trailer.
Okay, so first off, let's do the Suicide Squad titled The Blitz trailer. This is not numbered, but I would qualify it as a 3rd trailer.
Yeah, I think so. And I am going to wager, hopefully, I don't think this is going to be the last trailer, because as we've seen with Batman and Superman, they really shoved that down our throats trailer-wise. I'm kind of hoping this is the last trailer that I will watch. I don't want to get inundated a little bit too much. So this might be the last one for me, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, definitely. go ahead and tell me what you think I thought. This is interesting for me because I have no idea what you think I thought.
Well, if I had to pull out the big points, it's definitely going to be that we are seeing a little bit more of characters that we haven't seen before. So we saw, I think her name's Katana. And who's the other one? The ghostly ghoul. What's her name?
Oh,
Forgot.
Enchantress.
Yeah, so we saw two of them, and you are really trying to figure out where the hell Enchantress fits in with this mix-up, and I think that's the point that you're taking away from this.
So yeah, there's a couple things. Also, we get to see Slipknot shoot his rope and kind of fly up and out of the way. I think he's the first to die. I honestly think he'll be the first to die on the team. But I also agree, Enchantress is never with the team again. I want to point that out. She's never with the team in like these big action scenes. But we actually get to see the room that she's in. In the last trailer, she was in looked like the White House room, like a war room, and we get to see a little bit more of that this time. So I think she's in that room. She is the person that Waller brings in to say, we can use these people, and she's that person. What I really want to point out, and I hope you notice, is Batman is all over this trailer.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's a little bit of a misdirection. I don't know if they're kind of... they're selling something that they don't actually have, because I don't think Batman's going to be in this movie that much.
Well, I hear, my assumption is he is in the flashback scene showing how we got to this point. My new assumption is that the Tattooed Man and the Joker are in cahoots and they're the bad guys in this movie. Because I think the Joker's trying to get Harley, like get her and like free her from this thing. But at the same time, in this trailer, I get the vibe that he tossed her to the water so he could get away. Like, he drove the car off the cliffs, and Batman would have to jump in to save Harley so he could get away from Batman.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
And that's just kind of from watching this. But Batman, we never see his face. Like, it's only action scenes. So I'm like, how much did Ben Affleck really do in this? Like, is it just all stuntmen? And we just, like, he'll, like, do, like, 2 lines, like, I'm Batman, and then that's it? Like, I don't know how much he's really in it. Like, I agree with you. I don't think we're going to get a lot of Ben Affleck, but I think it's in flashbacks more than current time frames.
Yeah, and at the same time, I hope nobody out there is super excited to get a whole bunch of Batman. I don't really mind if he's... honestly, he could have not been in the movie at all, and it really wouldn't have rustled my jimmies in either direction. So overall, the trailer had a similar vibe to the other ones, because we kind of have this kind of like classic rock song playing in the background, and it's upbeat, and there's some funny stuff going on, and we saw some familiar action scenes kind of just like from the different angles. I was excited to see more of Katana, because I think she's a really cool character, so I'm glad we got a little bit more of her.
I think
it was a good trailer. It didn't necessarily like knock me out of my chair. It didn't necessarily blow my socks off. But I'm looking forward to the movie. But I don't think I need any more trailers. I'm pretty much set up with what this movie is going to deliver to me.
I think I need one more thing to show maybe like the Tattooed Man or like his abilities if he is the villain. Because I feel like we're getting very generic kind of action shots. I want to see one unique action shot that we'll only get in this movie, right? Because if we want to see like these supposed bad guys fighting generic other bad guys, like, yeah, like that's cool. We've seen. I want one unique shot that's really gonna sell this movie to me. And on top of that, something interesting about this, it really felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy the second trailer, because in the first one we got Hooked on a Feeling, and in the second one we got Spirit in the Sky, which is kind of like how we kind of got the original. I don't remember the first song from the first Suicide Squad trailer, and then that's saying something. It wasn't Beastie Boys, was it? Because that's all the other movies used.
No, that's in the other trailer we're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't Beastie Boys, but either way, it was Bohemian Rhapsody, and in this one we got Ballroom Blitz. So I feel like they're kind of still going. I hate to use the Guardians of the Galaxy comparison. I don't want to be like, oh, they're copying Marvel, but I feel like that kind of. That it was a little bit the same. It was creepily the same.
I think it's an okay comparison, mainly because Guardians of the Galaxy really took that soundtrack to heart, and they incorporated all of those songs on the soundtrack into the movie. But I feel like
that Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah, I feel like this is more of marketing. Like the people that cut the trailers wanted to use these songs. I don't think we're going to see these songs in the movie. It would be a pleasant surprise if we did, but I don't think we're getting any of these songs in the movie at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just find the interesting that they use the same 80s kind of rock ballads there. And then lastly, the Suicide Squad logo is getting a little more colorful and brighter when we first saw it. I don't know if you saw the image making the rounds this week. Is that it shows all 4 Suicide Squad images from the logo from the first unveiling to the first trailer, second trailer, and then this trailer. It's getting brighter and more rainbowy behind it as we move along.
I would hope it's intentional. Maybe not so much as they're responding to the crowd's reaction, but I would like the idea of like, okay, every trailer we're going to release, we're going to make it just brighter and louder and crazier. So by the time the movie's almost out, it's just like yelling in your face. It seems to be more exciting if it's intentional, and if it's not, they're trying to like craft it as they move along, you know?
I think, I mean, to me, it's more akin to the Joker and Harley's colors in the film. And I would like to see a Joker takeover trailer where he's like hijacked a trailer and like it's like a Joker version, which would be really cool. So either, I agree with you. Suicide Squad didn't blow me off my feet, but we got to see a lot of cool stuff. And I'm really excited for this going forward. Which brings us to our next topic, Batman. We talked about him a little bit in there. He could be in the movie. Warner Brothers confirms there is a Batman solo film in the works. No release date yet, but it is being worked on with Ben Affleck directing the movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty big news. It seems a little softer than what I think people have been taking it as, because we heard the rumors already that have been circling around even like months back, and at the same time we had all these trailers that came out, so the news got buried a little bit. But this is really, really big, and I think Warner Brothers realizes Batman was easily unanimously the best part of the Batman Superman movie we put out. Ben Affleck is an award-winning, amazing director. I mean, we have a really, really good shot of making probably one of the best Batman movies of all time, so it's a no-brainer. I am really glad that Ben Affleck's on board. You know, I think Ben Affleck probably liked the idea of playing Batman because he's like, oh, I get to get super buff and jacked. You know, I get to play a superhero. You know, I'm sure I don't know personally his relationship with comic books like growing up, but, you know, who knows? He could have been like a really comic book geek growing up. But I never really saw him as someone embracing like creating a story around the character. But yeah, I'm glad that he's down for it.
Yeah, he does kind of tend to work in like, you know, more true to life stories, things that could be, you know, more real and grounded, I guess. So Batman's really out of his wheelhouse. But again, we go back to like his early days. You know, he's got that friendship with Kevin Smith, and you know he was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So he's got like a goofier, lighthearted side where I feel he could get down with that crowd and please them, I guess is what I'm thinking. But yeah, it was kind of buried a little bit. We've been talking about it. We've been presuming rumors on and off. But Warner Brothers confirmed it. Big solid win for them this week. Great news for Batman. I'm looking forward to that. We don't know when it is. I'm guessing it's probably one of those unreleased or unannounced dates that we reported last year. But I think it might be a little farther out than we think. So,
well, I'm excited. I think we're both excited. So
yeah. Also, Suicide Squad is a Batman film because they did confirm that every villain in Suicide Squad has a history with Batman, which I talked about months and months ago. I'm like, this is a Batman. All these are Batman villains. So I'm glad I was finally right yet again. So really the biggest news for me this week and you and everybody else I know is the Doctor Strange trailer dropping on Tuesday.
Yeah, most definitely. We had lots of news dropping this week, and this wasn't the first trailer this week. It wasn't the last trailer, but it was right there in the juicy middle, and man, did the cream rise to the top.
Did it ever? And I think what really makes this one stand out is we knew about it beforehand. Like, this isn't something that was sprung on us like the other three. This one was pre-planned, premeditated. I stayed up late watching Jimmy Kimmel Live to see this trailer premiere on the TV.
And out of all the trailers, this is the premiere. This is the first of the first.
Yes, it is. Number one to me... I think what really makes it stand out is Marvel says they're going away from origin stories after Doctor Strange, but this origin story looks so similar to the cartoon movie that it just makes me that much more excited for it. It's a couple things I walked away with from. There's a lot of great visuals in this, very visually appealing. An example is the villain Mads Mikkelsen's walking down a hallway, it looks like, but everything's like rotating around him, kind of like clocks. A city is folding in on top of another city, but there's like a third city. It's like an Inception kind of deal there at the end. And the astral projection look whenever Strange gets knocked out of his body was really, really well done. I guess somewhat I kind of looked at it as like the Ghost like how the ghosts look in the new Ghostbusters movie, but at the same time, I'm like, this will probably make more sense when we see it in the context of the whole rather than just this one small
it was really funny. I had kind of a similar feeling. Like, this whole trailer had just amazing, stunning visuals. I love the score that ran through the whole thing. We didn't really get a whole lot of Doctor Strange. You know, we got a lot of Stephen Strange, but not a whole lot of him being like, I guess it's weird saying the Doctor, because he is a doctor, and we actually did get to see him be the Doctor. We didn't get to see Benedict Cumberbatch be the superhero that he's going to come into. It was more just like, oh, look at all this craziness that he's going to be dealing with on the road to getting there, which makes sense for his origin story. So we had a lot of these awesome visuals. But yeah, that moment when he gets knocked out of his body, he's kind of leaning back looking at his hands. That just seemed kind of weird when I saw it, like just his expression. I think in the whole grand scheme of thing, when the whole scene is set up, it's going to make a lot more sense. But I easily forgot about that as we got into the rest of the trailer. And then I just love the vibe of it. I'm still trying to figure out what Benedict Cumberbatch is going to sound like with his American accent, because we did get a little bit of voiceover of what he could sound like, but we haven't really gotten a scene yet. So I'm trying to nail down what his accent's going to be, because he had I'd say two main dialogue parts, and one of them sounded basically like everyone said he sounds just like House, a Hugh Laurie in House, and then there was another thing where he kind of sounded a little bit more like Benedict. So I'm not really sure what mix we're going for here. But either way, this movie just looks fantastical, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's an awesome premiere trailer, and we really didn't get a whole lot of information. We just got a whole lot of interesting visuals, so it makes me looking forward to the next trailer, you know?
Yeah, so we didn't get to see Wong, his assistant, in the Sanctum Sanctorum. We did only see a little bit of the Sanctum Sanctorum when he's walking up the steps at the end. And he's obviously got his, Doctor Sorcerer Supreme garb on, and he's walking up there. And you're right, we didn't get to see a lot of that. This is very much a tease, full, because I think they're going back through and they're going to do the ADR, so maybe they haven't nailed down the dialect just yet, and they're recording that. But it's safe to say that Chiwetel Ejiofor looks really great as Baron Mordo, the sidekick. The Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton, fantastic. I didn't expect to see her be bald, or what that is. That's great. I think that's a nice. It's a nice update on that character of the Ancient One, and again, we still don't know who the bad guy is. There's a lot of tease going on here. I want to see more magic go on. I think we're going to see that in the second trailer once the effects are kind of worked on a little bit. It's seen as the movie did wrap filming a week ago. I'm really surprised we're getting a teaser this early in the year. I think it's to kind of lead into Civil War. I think, again, I'm no facts, no knowledge for me whatsoever, but for Civil War, which actually isn't on our list today, but be wary that there are reviews out now, so you could definitely be spoiled on this film. Maybe he's in the end credits. I don't know. Maybe that would be cool to see him in the end credits of Civil War.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from this trailer is how excited I am to add Benedict Cumberbatch to the Marvel Universe. Like, we obviously love him. He's an amazing actor. I can't wait until the next Sherlock season comes out. Like, he's amazing. I love everything that he's in. So I'm really glad that we get to add somebody of this caliber to the Marvel Universe. I think he's going to bring a lock to it. So yeah, this new trailer knocked it out of the park. Definitely looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. No matter how far away that is. Now, here's a bit of a fun fact. We got the official title of the Spider-Man movie. And it's definitely not what I was expecting.
Yes.
I will say last week I was wrong. It was one of the titles we reported on, and it's called Spider-Man Homecoming. And there's also a potential logo. I guess it's a first draft logo is what I'm going to call it, because this movie doesn't come out for what I said, I think 18 to 19 months. And I think this is just a first draft. We've seen Marvel evolve their logos as the movies go on. But Spider-Man Homecoming is I guess it's several meanings to it, because first off, there's homecoming dances for high schoolers, right? Those stupid things. And Homecoming is the title of an issue, the very first issue after Marvel's original Secret Wars from Amazing Spider-Man, where both Captain America and Iron Man both show up in it. You can kind of see the cover. He's got his black suit on the cover, and he's like swinging with someone under his arm. It's an homage to one of the original Spider-Man covers, which is a really, really, it's a very interesting issue, because that's when black suited Spider-Man first appeared in the regular universe, because he found it during Secret Wars. Does that mean we're going to get black suit Spider-Man in Homecoming? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But it was chosen because of many reasons, and it may not work right now, but I think this may be something that grows on us over time.
Yeah, and there's kind of also an unintended definition of Homecoming, where Spider-Man is kind of partially coming back to Marvel, where he belongs, Marvel Studios. I'm fine with the name. The only problem I have with it, from a creative point of view, is the logo looks like garbage. It looks like trash. Like when I first saw the image, I very instinctually either one, didn't think it was real, it was fan made because it looked so bad, or two, I thought maybe it was for like an animated something with a smaller budget, maybe not as much time put into it. Like it's a really weird like webbing kind looking font, and they just for some reason put the logo in, or the Spider-Man icon for the O in coming. It just looks really weird and haphazard and all over the place. Like obviously no one's going to react to it as aggressively as I would, as someone coming from a design background. But yeah, the logo looks like garbage, so I'm very much looking forward to this getting updated and looking better. But I have no problem with the name. I think the name works out, and we were speculating, are we going to get Spectacular Spider-Man? Are we going to get some sort of twist on that? But no, they're just going with straight up Spider-Man, adding a tagline. That kind of works with how the Marvel Universe is laying out.
Yeah, and then, again, that goes back to my what I said last week, in that people will get confused if you give it another adjective. The common viewer, the people who go like, oh, which Spider-Man is it? Is it Amazing Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man or just Spider-Man? But I think Homecoming really again nails that Marvel's gonna try to get away with numbers and do subtitles going forward. So, but also a couple bits of news on it is that it is a Sony Pictures production of a Marvel Studios film, per Kevin Feige, who pretty much gave us all our news this week. So Marvel are the creative producers, and they're working on the script and the casting and the introduction of the movie. But Sony's just kind of, I guess getting like producing credit, I guess is how this works. So Marvel's doing all the legwork. Sony's getting some kickbacks, but we can trust in Marvel that Sony can't mess this up, I think.
It kind of sounds like maybe Sony's understanding that Marvel knows what they're doing. They're taking a back seat. The contracts have already been signed. They understand that, the percentage of, Spider-Man of the box office that they bring in has already been set. So they know, like, hey, these guys have knocked it out of the park every time. Let's stay out of it. Hopefully no egos get inflated over there studio-wise. It gets me so upset that these are things I have to think about when I think about Spider-Man. I have to think about stupid executives. Like, I don't want to have to think about that. So I'm glad Kevin Feige is cracking the whip over there, and no one at Sony. Go ahead, just give Sony their, like, distribution rights or whatever. Just give them just sign their check and just send them along,
Well, the thing is, it's not Sony. It was Avi Arad who did a lot of the Marvel films and all the Spider-Man movies, like since the beginning of comic book movies in the 2000s. And part of the deal is that he was essentially Marvel Studios president until 2006 when Feige took over, and as you know, gave us the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And part of this deal is that Arad cannot touch this movie. He will not be in the same room. He cannot be near it because like the bad blood between them is so bad. But Feige's able to rise above that and work on a business level and get him out of there. Thank God. On that note, a couple of rumors about this movie is we're getting a big, strong rumor that the guy who's in Birdman, man, I'm blanking on my names right now.
Kevin Costner, right?
Michael Keaton.
Keaton. I was close.
I
wasn't close, but
damn,
Michael
son,
Keaton.
the original Batman is rumored to be in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah,
and now I don't know who he's gonna play, but a separate rumor is that the Vulture was rumored to appear in the film in one of the first drafts, but not the main villain in that draft. But that could have been updated. Now, do you see Michael Keaton being the Vulture?
I think it makes sense. Funny thing is he was, quote unquote Birdman, so that's kind of funny. But
and a Batman.
I think that's true. He's good at playing flying creatures. I think it makes sense specifically when it comes to Vulture because we haven't seen that villain yet in any of these Spider-Man movies that we've gotten. Spider-Man, his strongest villain by far is usually Goblin or Doc Ock, but we've seen those guys established pretty well in the other movies. Yeah, we didn't really get the best Lizard. We got a horrible Electro, but we haven't seen any Vulture at all, so I think it makes sense to bring him in this movie.
I do. I would always want to see Mysterio, to be honest. After the stuff they're going to do with Doctor Strange, seeing Mysterio visuals on screen would be fantastic and absolutely rock my world.
Yeah.
To be honest, so I don't care who he is, but Michael Keaton would be a good grab into this, because I think it'd be funny if Batman comes into this world, but DC took the character who played J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson and put him as Commissioner Gordon. It'd be a nice flip-flop of characters and actors and roles.
Yeah,
so.
One thing that I kind of am hoping for, one thing that I think would be cool, if they're envisioning this Spider-Man as a trilogy, he's going to get his own suite of movies. I would love it to be a slow build to the villain in the third movie. I loved the Goblin from the Ultimate Universe. And I would really love to see that just beastly creature come to the big screen. And so I would love to see basically Norman Osborn kind of slowly build up over 3 movies. So it'd be super cool. Yeah, give us like Mysterio and Homecoming and a little bit of Vulture. Maybe bring back Doc Ock in the second one again. And then like bring us a Goblin in the third one. I would love that. That's kind of, I think, how I'd like the villains to lay down.
Yeah, and they also have Kraven the Hunter to pull from, and a couple other characters, Chameleon that they could use. So there's a lot of ideas and options. So Spider-Man has a lot of potential, and as long as he don't hit us over the head with the other old things some more, we'll be fine. Which brings me to the one Spider-Man movie I'm not really interested in, the animated Spider-Man movie. We have our first logo. Look at the logo, and it just says Animated Spider-Man. It's got the same Spider-Man font as in when it says Spider-Man, but it says animated. It's done by Phil Lord, Chris Miller, none of the Lego movies. Don't know nothing about this one, but I think Avi Arad is doing this one, I don't trust it as much. But it doesn't exist in the cinematic universe. It's just, I think Marvel gave them the ability to do their own animated movie, how they wanted to do it, in turn for getting, the live action.
Yeah, it's still just really, really weird. I don't understand where these animated movies are supposed to just set, just in the calendar. I really liked the Lego movies because they're their own thing. They can kind of be satirical and they can kind of make fun of properties out there, and they don't really have to deal with that. But with an animated movie, I just can't imagine an animated Spider-Man movie just being like funny, tongue-in-cheek, just a laugh, romp, comedy movie. It's going to be action adventure. So it's weird that it's animated, because these are the kind of things that you would expect maybe going direct to Netflix or something like that. It's just hard for me to imagine this to be occupying a big screen and really commanding a box office on a weekend. It's just such a weird project,
Yeah, I agree, and I think maybe this might be again Sony being stupid and seeing how well the DC animated films are doing and trying to put it theirs in the cinematic forefront rather than relegating them to just home release and digital release, which honestly would probably be a better option for this at this point. But whatever. Again, Phil Lord, Chris Miller did great in the Lego movie. Maybe they can do something with this. We don't know, but I'm not looking forward.
Yeah,
don't put it on my radar.
And it's hard to put much weight to it either, just because we haven't heard hardly any news about this. Like, yeah, we have like directors, but even this like screenshot, it doesn't even look official. It's like it looks like someone.
It's an official. It's from CinemaCon this weekend. So this was from a Sony panel. The screenshot does look iffy, but it is from CinemaCon.
I mean, it kind of looks like a project that honestly I could see like maybe we're recording an episode in 2017 and we still haven't heard anything more about the movie, and then it just gets quietly pushed to the side and it never happens.
Whatever it happens, we'll see what it does. But I mean,
we'll let you know.
Definitely not something we're not chomping at the bit to get more of. Instead, how about some Black Panther news?
Yeah, man, what's going on with Black Panther?
So, Kevin Feige, again talking all week, has confirmed the director, Ryan Coogler, is helping work on the script as well.
Awesome.
So he's involved with that. Really, really great news. Not much on that, but filming begins in early 2017. So, if my production schedule holds up, right now they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy. They'll swing into Spider-Man in a couple months, then Thor, and then Black Panther as soon as the year starts. So we might be getting some set photos and stuff, and about another year, about another 20 or 50 episodes or so. We'll be talking about Black Panther screenshots, and I think that's cool. I'm really excited. I want to see more of him in Civil War. I'm really excited to see his introduction there and how he comes across, because Black Panther's a really cool character. And I picked up.
I was gonna say I like how we're measuring time now by number of Superhero Slate episodes. I think that should be the standard.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. So I mean, we can make it it's not a sliding scale, I guess. We do it every week, don't we? But so I'm really excited to see where Black Panther comes and how he rise and where that comes from, because again, I picked up the Empire magazine that has the image of Tony and Steve, and they're doing the Civil War comic book cover where he's blasting the shield, and there's a big article on just Black Panther alone in there, so it was really cool to read about that and see how that's gonna unfold over the next coming months and years. So Black Panther all the way, man. His new comic book came out 2 weeks ago, I think. Really awesome series. You probably should pick it up if you're into comic books. Yeah, that's my pick of the week.
I think isn't the new book being written by like a MacArthur Genius Grant or somebody really really smart is writing the book.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, I think the dude's like won like awards and he's like a genius, and like I like maybe like not Nobel Prize or something like that, but the dude is like up there, and it was like big news, I think, when they said he was going to be writing a comic book. So yeah, I've heard good things about that.
He's a national correspondent for The Atlantic. So and he from Howard University, I guess. MacArthur Fellowship. Yeah, so there you go. Really cool. On top of that, let's talk about some Thor Ragnarok. I mentioned the production schedule. We're gonna move around a little bit. Tessa Thompson, an actress from the movies Creed and Selma, which are actually, Ryan Coogler did Creed, so that's awesome, has joined the film Thor Ragnarok as a kind of superhero that will appear in other Marvel films as well.
Ooh, that's cool.
Rumor right now is she's Valkyrie.
All right. I'm okay with that.
Judging by her look, I would have pegged her more as a Miss America Chavez, or some other, I guess, African American superhero. But if they want her to be a Valkyrie, that's fine too. I mean, I don't care.
They can add whoever they want. I'm just glad that they got rid of Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I really hope. I can't confirm. I cannot confirm they got rid of Natalie Portman, but they should not be using Natalie Portman.
We can only hope.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, nothing against her. She just didn't really add anything to the movie. Damsel in distress. Ooh, woe is me. But she's also supposed to be a nerd and smarter than the Asgard. I don't know. I'm really confused now. I'm really frustrated. Let's move on to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Paul Rudd is working on the story, confirmed, while Peyton Reed is talking with Marvel about how to proceed with the film.
All right, that I wasn't expecting Paul Rudd to get his hands dirty on the story, but I'm assuming he loves being a superhero and he really loves the role. So I'm assuming he'll approach it with the appropriate amount of attention that it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's really involved in the character. He's in Civil War as well, another character in Civil War, and really excited to kind of see where he goes with that. Really excited. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, I guess that's 2017, but 2018 after Infinity War Part 1.
Yeah, so what's that, about 100 plus Superhero Slate episodes?
Yes, I would say probably 120 maybe before we really talk about that movie or do a spoiler cast on the movie. But we'll keep you posted on Ant-Man and the Wasp, that's for sure. Wasp looks awesome. We know that's for a fact. So now we're going to touch on something a little more personal to me, okay? Marvel's Inhumans.
Yeah, I guess we don't talk about bad news too much. Usually it's a lot of positive stuff in our show, but this might be bad news on your end.
So this is both bad and good news is how I'm going to look at it. So Marvel Inhumans, we give them in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Inhumans are the superpowered people in the TV show. That's great for me. I love watching that every week. And the movie, focused on the royal family, is scheduled for a 2019 release, like a week away from Indiana Jones 5, which is horrible for Inhumans because everyone knows Indiana Jones. Despite how bad the last one is, everyone's going to flock back to see the next one. And that's cool. That's cool. We like Indiana Jones, but don't let it be a bad one, right? Right, Disney? So Feige this week has confirmed that Inhumans will most likely be delayed again to give room some birth to Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah. So
okay.
What every time I think about the Inhumans, okay, they are technically, before this ever happened, before they were delayed, they were officially scheduled in for Phase 3, right?
Yeah, they still are in Phase 3, yes.
See, but when I think about them, I kind of think about them as like kind of like a whole new kind of like chapter, a whole new vision that the universe can take. So I almost really like the idea of them kicking off a Phase 4. So I don't like that. I feel bad for you that you have to wait even longer to see Black Bolt. And it's never good when something gets delayed because that just means things get a little shaky. It just makes you a little nervous. But I would just love them to just like kick off Phase 4, like balls to the wall with Inhumans. So if they have to shift into the next phase, I would be okay with that.
So I'm going to take a little different turn on that. Despite how much I love the characters, I would like them to be the end cap of Phase 3, much like Ant-Man was the end cap of Phase 2. Inhumans they're a bold sell, man. Not a lot of people know them. Not a lot of people are going to care. Just like Ant-Man, right? Ant-Man's a very, very bold idea. A guy who can shrink to the size of an ant and talk to ants. Royal Inhumans is a little different, so I see them being okay at the end of Phase 3, and maybe Fantastic Four will help bring them into the forefront because they're a big part of the Fantastic Four series. Hopefully Fantastic Four is at Marvel, knock on wood, baby. All right, but the thing that really gives me confirmation is Feige says this movie is happening, and it's not a question of if it's happening, but when will it happen that makes sense. That it's not, being delayed by Infinity War being split into 2 movies, or a couple added films like Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp, or like Indiana Jones finding his way in there. Because I think whatever Marvel touches turns to gold, or at least not silver, a very, very nice silver, but never bronze. And I think Inhumans will benefit from that, and that he says that when it will happen gives me better motives that they are working on it. It's just not something that they can do something with right now because we're so far away. So I as long as he says it is happening, that's all I want to hear. I don't care. If I'm the only one in the theater, I'll be there watching it. Everybody can get off my back when you see it. So, all right, sorry, that's my Inhumans rant. I love the Inhumans. I have lots of Inhuman stuff around, so it's just one of my things. But we're gonna move into something a little more interesting here. Iron Fist, Marvel's Iron Fist, moving right along. The actor Arleo Dordar from Minority Report, the TV series, is now a series regular. And that's cool. More cast, right? But David Wenham of Lord of the Rings in the movie 300 has been cast as Harold Meechan, a rival of the Rand family. And I guess you work with them, but kind of threw him under the bus. I imagine this is kind of like an Iron Man movie, like the character Jeff Bridges played. David Wenham's a great actor. Lord of the Rings, he was one of the, I guess, was not a writer of Rohan, but a son of somebody. He had long blonde hair. 300, he was the guy who went back with the eye patch to tell everyone the story of the 300. And he was also in the Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman as his inventor dude.
Yeah.
So.
Either way, I think we're both excited for Iron Fist. So it's cool to see that they're starting to cast. Hopefully we'll get some more news as we go through.
Yes. Which brings us into a series where Iron Fist could be introduced, Marvel's Luke Cage, right? Okay, I don't think he's going to show up actually now, the more I think about it. This is something you sent to me, but I actually already had the notes.
So it doesn't even matter. My attempts were useless.
No, I appreciate your attempts. It shows me you're passionate about something, Mike. So why don't you go ahead and give us this bit of news about Marvel's Luke Cage?
All right, so it looks like... hold on, I'm Googling something here, so I'm prepared. There we go.
Apparently you're not prepared. This is called unprepared.
I wanted to be extra prepared. So, looks like the show is going to be scored from a member from A Tribe Called Quest, which is awesome. I don't remember the member off the top of my head, but either way, super influential hip-hop group, so I'm very excited to see that going too. But what I was looking up was the only footage that we've had so far of the Luke Cage show is the teaser trailer, and the song that underscores that is Made You Look by Nas, which is cool. That I like how they're bringing all of this hip-hop influence into the Luke Cage show, because I love that mixture of bringing hip-hop into superheroes. That's something that we really haven't had much of yet. that, so I'm really digging that vibe. So that's why I was really excited to see this Tribe Called Quest news. So I think this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm glad they're being very genuine with the show and like kind of doing their own thing and not be like, oh, we gotta use like dramatic music for this. We can actually bring someone in to do this. Much like I think was it Junkie XL who did the Deadpool soundtrack, I think, or something like that. But a lot more like non-traditional composers are being brought in to do scores, and that's really cool. So go Luke Cage. Yeah, you rock.
Yeah, and it looks like the Tribe Called Quest member is going to be Ali Shahid Muhammad. So either way, any sort of a Tribe Called Quest influence is going to be awesome. So looking forward to Iron Fist, looking forward to Luke Cage, and I think that segues really good into our next bit of news.
It's right, Marvel's Defenders. Okay, we got a lot of news on this, believe it or not. This is probably one of the biggest kind of unknowns in our world right now. Like, we know Defenders is coming. We've seen 3 of the 4. We have news on the 4th. Daredevil 2 showrunners are in charge of Marvel's Defenders.
Yeah, the new showrunners from season 2.
Yes, Douglas Petrie and Marco Ramirez did a great job with season 2. I was kind of worried changing hands might get us like instead of an A-, we get a B+. But they really knocked it out of the park, and I think really upped the ante for Daredevil season 2 in my book. And I'm glad they're running the Defenders. They show they can handle multiple characters like the Punisher and Elektra and Daredevil.
And also, so
I feel comfortable with that.
They were also really, really good at creating little isolated stories and chunks. Because as we said, season 2 kind of was separated almost into 2 parts, but everything kind of interconnected. So we don't have any official news on this, but we do know that we feel that the Defenders is going to be a short series. As far as we know, we don't think Defenders is going to get a whole 13 episodes. So maybe if it's more like 4 to 6 episodes, it seems like they'll do a really, really good job at telling us a really great story in that condensed amount of time.
Yeah, that'll be the first thing too. Like the first time ever Marvel's, I guess, TV series have come together in an event of that nature. So we don't know what that beast looks like, but I'm really excited to see how it takes shape. Another bit of news is Daredevil brings the team together because he realizes he can't do it alone. Something they realized this last season. He can't really fight on the ninjas and the mysticism and stuff. So that was interesting. Do you think Elektra might be a villain?
I don't know. I mean, she's definitely gonna reappear in the universe somehow. We don't really have any news on Daredevil season 3 at all, and it looks like the showrunners that could have possibly done season 3 are going to be busy with the Defenders. So I'm not really sure what's going to go on there. I think it's more interesting that Luke Cage is usually known for kind of being the lead of the Defenders. So it makes sense that they're going to make it Daredevil Matt Murdock just because he's had such a big kickoff on the Netflix universe. So he's been a really big lead player, and I love Charlie Cox. He's been a really good commanding officer for the crew that he's gotten together from the 2 seasons. So I think that works. I was always expecting Daredevil to be the lead of the Defenders, but now we know for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Filming also starts at the end of this year for the Defenders. So we not 50 episodes, but maybe like 40. We'll be talking about some season, or I guess Defenders, images from the set.
Yeah, that's awesome. Looking forward to that.
And that means we'll also know kind of like what the show's going to look like. Is it going to be 13 episodes? Will it be 4, 5, 6? Maybe 26. Who knows? They could go big. Go big.
52 episodes. They just went overboard.
Oh my gosh, too much. Reel it back in. But that's awesome. And the characters are not likely to transition to Infinity War as of right now.
So is that saying that they're not going to be on the big screen?
No. As I've heard that Marvel signs, whenever you sign a contract with Marvel, you get TV, movie, and other rights all in your contract. So they could do it, but I don't think that I think that the Defenders might be doing something else while Infinity War takes place, because that brings us our next topic is Infinity War, when I want to talk about it, and this could be kind of how things are a little different than we thought they were. But I mean that these characters aren't going to Infinity War, that's fine with me. I think Infinity War, it needs a lot of characters, but I think the cinematic universe has just enough characters that we don't need to add the TV ones just yet. So, what do you think? You agree with that? You okay with that? You on the fence?
I think I'm okay with it. The one thing that I do really enjoy, even when the first season of S.H.I.E.L.D. was really, really bad, it was still a magical moment when we got to see a big player like Nick Fury pop up in the show. It was just like really cool to be like, holy crap, Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, this giant super mega movie star is on my TV show right now. I loved that feeling. It was super cool. And I love it when that cross-pollination happens. And we got to see a little bit of Sif, but I don't know, that wasn't executed as well in my head. So I would lose my shit if I was watching Infinity Wars and Daredevil popped up, because it would be like so cool. Or it would be awesome if I was watching like the Defenders and like a legitimate like really big star hero popped up, like Captain America or something. I'm really waiting for one of those moments to happen. I don't think it needs to be heavy. I don't think that a character needs to pop down and last for a couple episodes, or Daredevil needs to pop up in Infinity War for like 20 whole minutes. I just want to see a little bit of that kind of cross-pollination, because I love those little moments. They're so exciting. So I'm hoping we get some of that soon.
Yeah, I see them coming down to TV rather than going up to movies, to be honest. If I was to see one way for them to do, as you say, the cross-pollination here. So I'll go either way, but we'll see. We'll report that. As of now, nothing, but that could change. And that brings us to Avengers Infinity War. Okay, so this is parts 1 and 2. We're going to talk about this. Thor is confirmed for the movie. Well, we kind of figured that out. Also, Star-Lord is kind of semi-confirmed. The Russo brothers talked about having Star-Lord and him being kind of a player in their sandbox for this. So I think he will be confirmed as well. That's great. Everyone loves Chris Pratt and Star-Lord, so more him the merrier, right?
Did that kind of make you a little... I don't know, it kind of makes me a little disappointed to hear the news that Star-Lord is semi-confirmed, because I was kind of expecting the Guardians, all of them, to show up to Earth, because Thanos is kind of like... if Thanos ends up making it to Earth, it's almost kind of the Guardians' fault that they didn't stop him on the way there. So I want to see like Groot and Rocket and like Tony Stark and like all of these guys just all rummaging around. So hearing the news that, hey, Star-Lord might be there, I was kind of hoping maybe for the rest of them.
Well, I think you're counting your chickens a little early, because the Russo brothers don't even have Civil War in theaters yet. I think getting them to say that much is kind of a blessing. So the fact they even said that gives me hope that yes, the rest of the Guardians will appear, and we shouldn't worry. But that particular character is fresh in their minds, maybe because it's filming.
Are you trying to say, to bring it back to Samuel L. Jackson? Are you trying to say the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence?
Sure, why not? Whatever you want to say, man. So yes, but this is where it brings me into the biggest news of Infinity War Parts 1 and 2, and this is where something we might want to talk about a little bit is Parts 1 and 2 are separate films. There's not one movie split into 2 parts.
I think that is very good. I don't want to see like a to be continued at the end of Part 1. That'd be kind of cheesy.
Now, I could definitely see it ending on a not so much a cliffhanger, but something of a very dire situation. Where nothing looks good for the next like 3 movies, and we have to wait a year to see kind of how the other characters evolve, because there are 3 other movies in between. So they've got to figure out how they're going to move forward, because it's not going to be consecutive all on the same day.
Yeah, so I think if we think about maybe the last 2 Harry Potter films, those were a part 1 and 2, but they were very much kind of meant to be watched together simultaneously. And I think those movies were also only separated by a year as well. So it sounds like we're going to get away from that. I would almost kind of hope, if these are going to be very different movies, like maybe we could get like subtitles in them. Like maybe we'll get like Infinity War Subtitle 1, Infinity War Subtitle 2. Parts 1 and 2 make it sound like they're kind of supposed to be connected,
Yeah, and I agree, and I think again we might see that evolve as it goes, because the Russo brothers, again, Civil War is still fresh in their minds. When they sit down and start working on this larger event and all these characters, I imagine we're gonna get probably something more confirmed and more solid. And I agree, subtitles would be one way to do that. And I see like maybe not every character appears in both movies. Maybe they appear in like some big climactic end of the second movie. But we might get maybe Iron Man's in one and Captain America's in the other, or the Guardians are in one set and the Asgardians are in another film, because we don't need them all at the same time. And that would be cool to me, but I'm glad they're doing it into 2 movies, and we can think of them as separate movies despite the confusing titles, Part 1, Part 2. So that, to me, that's a big win for everybody. But anything else you want to add to that? Because Infinity War, I mean, to think how close we are 2 years away from Infinity War.
I think the most important thing to do is to go ahead and roll on because, man, we introduced the show as a trailer magnificent masterpiece, and man, we're only like halfway through these trailers. There is so much news this week. Like we can't even take a chance to stop and breathe after Infinity War.
We can't. We got to move on to the biggest, not the biggest, some crazy news. Kingsman: The Golden Circle, the sequel that everyone wants. That's crazy. Channing Tatum has joined the cast.
Yeah, I guess he's not too concerned about getting prepared for a Gambit, the movie that we have no idea what the hell's going on with. But it seems like the rumor is that this is going to be possibly an American spy, to kind of brush up against Taron Egerton's British spy.
So I don't think it's a rumor at this point because he did tweet an image showing the U.S. version of the Kingsman and then the Statesman. Mm-hmm. He's a statesman. It looks like from the poster a very southern accent, very southern drawl. Maybe he's getting ready for his stage role. You never know.
Yeah, I guess.
He's just talking that all day, and that's how he auditioned. Like, all right, you're cast, buddy. But that's kind of a surprise announcement. I didn't expect Channing Tatum to join Kingsman. I don't know how I feel. I don't care about Channing Tatum. You may like him. A lot of people may love him, but to me, I go either way. I'm like, I'll give her.
It makes me excited. I mean, Channing Tatum is a huge draw for any movie, and Kingsman getting a sequel is already super awesome. They're bringing in these huge guys, so that's super cool. I'm very excited for Golden Circle.
Yeah, so we'll knock on wood that he brings something to the table rather than takes it away at this point. Which we might have some more news for him later on. I'll talk about that. Deadpool 2 has officially been announced by Fox. Yeah. This is really exciting.
Yeah, a little bit of a no-brainer. We kind of expected this, so.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Batman announcement, honestly. Like, yeah, we know it was coming. Ryan Reynolds is signed. The original creative team is coming back, and they are bringing Cable, much like they teased at the end of the first film. So, spoilers, sorry, but Cable's coming. I don't care. You should see Deadpool. I'm excited to own Deadpool on DVD. Like, we get to see Civil War, and then next week I get to own Deadpool, so I'm going to be watching that on repeat for a week straight. Which kind of kicks off into some mutant news here. A lot of Fox mutant news this week, and that we get X-Men Apocalypse. A fan favorite mutant is to appear in the film. I know who it is. Do you want to know who it is, Mike?
Oh man, fan favorite mutant to appear in the film. I want to know, but I don't know. Do you think I should know? You know me pretty well. Do you think I want to know?
I think you could guess it without even trying, honestly, and that's kind of why I put this. I'm like, is this news? Is this not news? Is this rumor? I don't know where it fits in there, but you could guess it if you sat and thought of it for like 10 seconds.
You know what? I don't want to. So I don't want to know. I think this X-Men Apocalypse movie, since the trailers have been lackluster, they need as much draw to me as I can possibly get. So we'll leave that in the dark. But it's cool to know that we're kind of getting something that we haven't seen in the trailer. So I'm looking forward.
Yes, so if you guys want to know that, tweet at me, Valdan, on Twitter. I'll tell you who it is. I'll direct message you because I don't want Mike to know. So we are on full Royer lockdown this week for Civil War stuff. So we gotta keep that locked. Last bit of mutant news: New Mutants. We've talked about this a little bit before. The second draft of the script has been turned in by writers Josh Boone and Nate Lee.
Awesome.
Which we talked about this, I think it was last September, October, when the first draft was turned in. So the fact that there's a second draft and Fox has, hired a second draft means they're probably pretty serious about this movie. We've talked a little bit about, characters being in it, like Wolfsbane and Storm appearing and a couple other female characters, Magic. Hopefully that's true. The second draft of the script may be a little different. We may, they may have changed some stuff around from that bit of news. But New Mutants, Fox needs to really, embrace their mutant side, go a little crazy, get a little wild, show us characters we've not seen before, and just give Fantastic Four back to Marvel, because to hell with that shit. Well, that's all I got to say about that. So, let's forget it. Let's go to our third trailer. We've talked about a lot of stuff today. It's big news week. Third trailer, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I think this trailer dropped last Sunday. This is one of the first ones we got. Teaser trailer number 2 is what it's been titled at, I'm pretty sure. I still am yet to see any Fantastic Beasts that I want to care about.
And that's actually what I was going to bring up. I was like, I watched the trailer. I really liked the trailer. I thought it was really magical. I'm really looking forward to going back to this wizarding world and going back in the past to America. I think it's going to be really, really fun. We got to see a little bit of Colin Farrell. We got to see a little bit of magic, and I really like the tone of the movie. But the whole time I was thinking, just like Chris said when we got the first teaser trailer, this movie is called Fantastic Beasts, and all we got was a couple claws coming out of a briefcase, and we got this one little like mole that was holding like a coin purse sliding across the floor for like 4 frames. So yeah, like I totally agree with you. There is like no beasts in this movie, and I'm guessing maybe that's because it's a teaser trailer. I'm predicting that our first big trailer that's going to come out probably in the heat of the summer, when the summer is really, really going strong. We're going to get a whole big first full trailer, and we're going to get some really big, awesome looking monsters. And I guess for people like you really need that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cool to hear the Harry Potter theme song in the background, like, you know, the little notes and jingle or whatever it is. But like, it's not enough to sell me. Like, I get it, it's set in the Harry Potter world, but it's not Harry Potter. And if it didn't say Fantastic Beast, I don't consider a little mole dude a Fantastic Beast. More like an okay rodent, like an average rodent, and where to find it. Well, it's right here. We found it. I mean, the point of it being, yes, this is great. This is awesome. The idea's there, but like the title is still shoving. Like, I'm still shaking me back and forth on how I can, you know, really give into that and see what it does.
Well, so, we'll check back with you.
The trailer was okay.
Yeah, we'll check back with you after the first official trailer and see how you feel.
Yeah, since it's a WB property, I imagine Suicide Squad will have the last trailer, or at least a big one attached to it. So, knock on wood. Trailer number 4 for the week. This one was probably one of them. I thought was really funny for you. Like, I'm like, I got to get Mike this TMNT 2 trailer because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is Mike's favorite thing, guys. Remember that. That's our ongoing joke. Ha ha ha. So TMNT 2 Out of the Shadows gave us a new trailer number 2 this week. Mike, what did you think of it? Lay it on me.
Man, this trailer is so much fun. So when we've been talking about comic book movies in the past, we're thinking about, they're converting this comic book to a movie. You know, we talk about the level of detail they take from the comic book page, how much inspiration they take. You know, are they bringing the vibes off the pages to the screen? This is a totally different scenario where they're taking my favorite Saturday morning cartoons growing up and they're turning it into a movie. This isn't a comic book movie. This is a Saturday morning cartoon movie, and it looks really, really fun. You know, we got some Beastie Boys at the end, No Sleep Till Brooklyn attached on to the end of this trailer. You know, just some fun stuff is going on. No one's taking any of this very seriously. It just looks like it's going to be a blast in the theater, and I kind of wish I would have seen the first movie in the theater. A friend of the show, Quentin Parker, I believe he saw it in theaters. He told me it was really, really good. I was so hesitant to see that first one, but I ended up catching it on video release, and it was fun, and this looks like it's going to be even more fun and even taken less seriously. So I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of nice knowing that I can go into like an action summer blockbuster movie and there's not a whole lot riding on it. You know, I'm not so much worried about like a universe or a property being adapted well. This just looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like I can just relax when I go to the movie, you know?
Okay, yeah, I guess so. So here's my problems with it. It looks like it has like the same setups as the first movie, and I mean that in 2 ways. First off, they're going down a river while they're being chased in a tank. It was very reminiscent of them going down the snowy mountain in the first one, being chased by the military. And secondly, the final looking battle looks like it's on top of a damn building, where the big battle of the first one was. Had those two, like, everything else looks cool, like, it looks fun, like, oh, he's like, oh, look, I'm a little piggy, like, kind of thing. Really laugh, really, like, they're really getting into the characters and having fun with them.
Well, some people, I
agree with that, but
some people were
those parallels don't fit well for me.
Well, to say it looks like their final battle might be on a roof, some people were saying it looks like these things that are coming out of space are parts, and like maybe the climactic ending of the film is these parts are going to go to the ground and assemble the Technodrome, which could be really, really cool.
The Technodrome is in the air at the beginning.
Yeah, so I think it's
in the air, so it's already there.
I think it's gonna go street side. It's gonna be awesome. It just looks like a whole lot of fun, and I'm glad I don't have to worry too much about it.
Yeah, this is one thing you don't have to worry about, because you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. There's no in between. If you don't like Turtles movies, you're gonna hate it. Like, but if you don't, like, you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah, I agree. But those two parallels to me, I'm like, maybe not theater worthy. But if we get enough feedback for a spoiler cast of TMNT 2, I'll do it.
Okay, cool.
If enough people want to do a spoiler cast, if you want to do a spoiler cast, I'll go watch it for you.
Okay, so I guess before we get into these last little chunks of news that are gonna close out the show, so we've talked about our 4 trailers. Which one gets you more excited than the other ones?
Doctor Strange, of course, but at the same time, I can't say it's the best trailer I've ever seen in my life. So.
I think that's
Doctor Strange out of these 4.
I think that's fair.
And does that go the same for you?
Actually, I think the Fantastic Beasts trailer might get me more excited, just because I feel like there's more universe, like, kind of that we already know about. So a lot of the legwork has already been done. So I'm already kind of imagining what could happen. I kind of
so there's not enough legwork in the Marvel universe after 13 films.
I don't know what I'm talking about. The trailer just engaged me a little bit more. But yeah, the Doctor Strange trailer was fun. It was big news, but yeah, not the most exciting trailer I've ever seen. But yeah, I think you said it well. So bam, 4 trailers knocked out. Let's wrap this bad boy up with these little tidbits that we got going here. I'm looking at the last one that we're going to talk about, and I'm just looking forward to getting to that.
Yeah, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on these. Kind of shoot. So in the link, Men in Black in the 21 Jump Street crossover, the potential logo has been revealed, entitled MIB 23, which actually kind of rolls off the tongue pretty well. I kind of enjoy that. So it could be, I don't know. Men in Black is going to be a new team. They've said the 21 Jump Street, I don't know if it's going to be Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, but again, Channing Tatum, so hot right now. He's in everything, right? Anything you want to add to that, Mike? I mean,
no, they
I'm
said
a Men in Black fan,
they
but
said that they don't think Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith will come back. I think it kind of makes sense that if they're probably not going to come back, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill have to be in the movie, or like, what's the fucking point? It doesn't really make any sense. So
yeah, well, the 23 implies it's a sequel to that one. To 21 Jump Street, because it was 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, 23, where Men in Black doesn't have a sequel kind of to go off.
I mean, I would love to see maybe Tommy Lee Jones or somebody from the original movies kind of pop up, but either way, it's not a big make or break for me. I'm looking forward to them basically doing 21 Jump Street with aliens.
Yes, so we're gonna see how that plays out. Next up, Ghost in the Shell. We've talked about this movie starring Scarlett Johansson as the Major. A first look at Scarlett Johansson as the Major has caused a lot of controversy online. People are like, well, she's not Asian. But I'm of the impression that just because it's anime does not mean the character's Asian.
Yeah, well,
so
the one thing I don't get is, where was all of this controversy when it was announced? They said that Scarlett Johansson was going to be the lead in Ghost in the Shell a long time ago, so I guess people actually have to see it to get infuriated. I don't know. I was a fan of anime back when I was younger. I watched some Ghost in the Shell, and I thought the movie was an interesting idea. As long as they don't do anything super crazy, like trying to say that she is legitimately Japanese or something like that. She's very much a white character, so as long as she's played off as, like, you know, she is Caucasian from her character's perspective, I think that'll be okay. But, you know, it's Ghost in the...
She looks like the character. That's what I don't get. She looks like the character from the cartoon, so I'm like, I don't see the problem.
But I mean, it's Ghost in a Shell. I mean, everyone was kind of up in arms saying, like, oh, why couldn't they get, like, an Asian American actress in there, maybe the chick from Pacific Rim. I think that would have been cool, but I don't think that would ever happen, just because from a studio perspective, they're taking a chance on a property that most people that they need to go see this movie to support the production have never seen or heard of Ghost in a Shell before. So they absolutely...
Have you seen it?
I mean, I've seen it, some of it before, but I mean,
I've not seen it.
So. I mean, exactly. So I mean, like, you got to get a big name in there, and unfortunately, there's not a huge selection of big name Asian American actresses.
I could see Chloe Bennett pulling it off from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
She actually could pull it off really, really well. So
she's half Asian descent, so it works out.
In a perfect role, they would cast it as they should to match the characters in the show, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Let's just hope the movie's good. Let's just hope for a good quality movie, okay?
Yeah. And that's the same for our next topic, Power Rangers. Are we going to get a good one or not? Here's the reboot logo. Don't care.
Man, I don't give two shits about this movie.
Power Rangers and a lightning bolt. Bam, we got it. Nailed it.
Power Rangers was fun when I was a kid. I have no idea if this is going to translate.
Oh, well. Let's move on to something a little more I like a little better. Okay, The Tick. The Tick, the reboot coming up. Peter Serafinowicz is The Tick. Jackie Earle Haley from Watchmen fame has joined as a character called The Terror. So they're getting some big names for this Tick show, which is really crazy because I don't see The Tick being big budget or high quality acting.
Yeah.
The Tick to me is very goofy. I like the 90s early 2000s TV show. With the guy who voices Joe on Family Guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
It's just crazy that the show is coming back in general, so I don't know. It's weird. I don't even know if I'll watch it just because I never really caught much of any of the versions of The Tick, whether it was the animated series or the live action one. So I'm just I'm familiar with the character basically. I don't really know much about him.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So, but anyway, and this last bit of news is going to get Mike's goat, if you will. Avatar, the movie, not The Last Airbender, has announced that instead of not one sequel, not two sequels, not three sequels, but 4 full sequels.
5 Avatar movies altogether. It has been so. What's really really funny is like, we were talking in an earlier show months ago that it's just like, hasn't it just been too long? The steam has really cooled off from when that first Avatar movie came out. It almost seems like we're getting movies that are just adapting off of an old property, almost just like, hey, remember that classic movie Avatar? We should make some sequels. That movie was good. People liked that, right? But it's not that case. That's not the scenario, because I think we had announcements of a sequel of Avatar like after the first movie came out. So these sequels have been long in production planning stages, and we're finally getting an extra one now. It's just really weird,
Well, it's hard to write movie sequels when you're down at the bottom of the ocean like James Cameron. I think the ink, the pressure from the water makes the ink not work in the pen or something like that. I'm kidding. Regardless, the sequels, Avatar 2 is supposed to come out in 2018, okay? Supposed to. Avatar 3 is 2020, Avatar 4 is 2022. So every 2 years here, and Avatar 5 is 2023, which makes no sense unless like you've planned to split 4 into 2 movies and like just do them a year apart.
Are these blue aliens engaging enough for 4 more movies?
I don't even know if the blue aliens are in the movie. Like, there's so many different planets they can go to, like supposedly, where they can get unobtainium 2. Or is it Avatar: The Quest for More Money? Like, is that one of the subtitles that we don't know about? Because Avatar, just to me, I don't care for the first one. Like, I will not go back and watch that movie if the second one ever comes out.
It wasn't an awful movie. It's just there wasn't much special there. All of the hoopla around the first Avatar movie was the 3D, the all digital, the crazy craftsmanship that went into producing this spectacle. But all of that has worn off. We have surpassed all of that technology, and now it's mundane by now because that's how quickly technology moves. So unless James Cameron is going to do something crazy with this sequel, like introduce some sort of weird, like, fourth dimensional watching experience, I don't really know what's going to go on.
We talked about that last week. I don't want him to do it. So James Cameron, get out of our theaters. You leave us alone. But that's the end of our news there. People may not notice, but my computer died in the middle of this recording. So I had to switch computers, and we have to edit that in. So if you can find that, let us know.
Yeah, that's always...
technically, there's like 2 edits in this show, which is 2 times the normal edits.
This has been an episode for sure. Not only do we have all of this news that we had to dish out there, but we were interrupted several times. I had a random ancient Android cell phone from like years ago just spring to life with an alarm going off like partway through the show. Then like you literally had a computer die. You think a board in it just exploded, and you had to switch computers. Hopefully all of the audio is set and good. But I think everything came together well. This was a crazy amount of news. I can't imagine what's coming next week.
I don't even want to think about it. Like, let's get through this episode first, Mike. Then we'll focus on next week's stuff. So, in the meantime, if they want to follow you throughout the week and see what your crazy shenanigans are up to, like, Where can they do that, Mike?
Well, they can always follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can always read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, you were talking about a popular mutant popping up in X-Men Apocalypse. I don't want to know. I want to stay in the dark, but if people want to reach out to you, get a little direct message on who that's going to be, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can go to Twitter and find me at Valdan, Valdan. I'll be there, direct messaging you, giving away spoilers, if you will. But also, you can find me on Comic UI, where I posted most of these trailers and talk about them. And we'll probably be doing a lot more writing on there coming up soon. So find me on Comic UI, buddies. So in the meantime, I know they're listening to the podcast right now, Mike, because who would not want to listen to our sultry voices every day, at every chance they get? But where else can they find the Superhero Slate if they're so interested and so inclined?
All right, as I always do, to wrap up this kind of this was an extra large episode. Just like when,
I can't tell. I lost my time.
Just like when you buy something at the grocery store, you got maybe 15% more this time around. But as always, you can visit us at superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues the shows are connected to. We are on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. Subscribe to us via email. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. Holy crap, if you're a fan of the show, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. It helps us pop up in some fresh eyeballs, get some new listeners popping in the earbuds, listening to our voices. And if you're a super fan of the show, share the show with a friend. Spread the love of Superhero Slate. That is the episode. That is the week. Chris, It has been fun talking to you, and I think it's time to wrap this up.
Yes, I need to go perform triage, if you will, a word I learned from Mike this week, on my laptop, because I don't know where the first 15 minutes of the show is. So let's get out of here and go look at it.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.